Stay tuned for today's Antidote, brought to you by the Renegade Success Network. Today's Antidote features a healthy dose of thought-provoking insights and information for business owners, entrepreneurs, leaders, and nonprofit professionals. Each day since March of 2020, this program has offered that one thing to help you continue on your own unique pathway to success. And now, Renegades, we bring you Bob Graham and Tom Brush.
So I learned something yesterday, Tom. It's Friday. I learned something yesterday. People may not know this, but we taped yesterday's episode. And so I had the distinct privilege of watching our program at 8 a.m. And I realized through doing that I need to pause for about a second and a half before I do my do. Otherwise, it gets messed up in the middle. You didn't know that, did you?
No, I had not dissected it that much.
That's me, Tom, striving to get good enough that one of the major networks says, you guys need to have a program.
And you think that do will be the thing? Put us over the top?
I don't know what else will.
Well, I will say that just, there have been a couple of people who have submitted their rendition of Bob's do.
Can you show us one?
Not at the moment.
Okay.
Next week.
Next week. Right.
So if you want to get yours in, which means you'd have a chance to be on the show, and we would talk a little bit about your business, please feel free to submit them to me. Don't send them to Bob. Send them to me either through Messenger or email, or send me a note on Facebook, and we'll figure out how to get it connected. And you too could be a part of this show. So I just
and if someone doesn't want to talk about their business, if you don't want us to talk about your business, we'd be happy to talk about whatever is of interest to you. If you give to a charity and you want that 60 seconds, we are perfectly fine. But here's Bob, and he'd love to, his big charity is the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society of Maryland. So if you'd like to contribute, here it is, and here's their website. But I'm open to that as well. I'm sure you are too, right?
Absolutely. Why not?
We have to work that up more, like build that out from a nonprofit perspective, because you work with so many nonprofits.
And sometimes people want to promote other things.
Yeah. Or your community yard sale.
That also could be the benefit. Now,
or if you sell Girl Scout cookies. Imagine take 90 seconds and Rebecca sells Girl Scout cookies, and here's the link so you can order from Rebecca, and suddenly Rebecca and her daughter
are overwhelmed.
Overwhelmed. They've got an 18-wheeler coming to their house with cookie orders.
Right. That might be one of those things where your results are too good. To then have to divide that out and distribute. Ooh, pain in the neck.
Yeah. Yes.
So is today a day?
Today is Friday.
Well, you were slow in sharing that, but yes, today is Friday. Is there anything else that today is?
I did not look. I was busy last night, and I usually, so I have to be streaming through my Instagram. I can look now if you want.
No, that's okay. That's all right. You can put it in the Ring of Renegades Facebook group.
I think the fact that it could be when it's of interest or when it works, like the Limerick Day or the Eat What You Want Day, I don't feel like we should force it, because otherwise we're going to get like National Bog Turtle Day. And while I think bog turtles are beautiful species, I'm not sure I have enough to talk about bog turtles to make that interesting.
Okay, fair enough. But Limerick Day was one that was like, this is interesting enough.
We had some great limericks in the Facebook group. Lou did one, Tim did one, Jean pulled out one from when she went to Ireland?
Yes.
You did one?
I did.
And they shared a bit about business in a different way. Like, I knew what Lou did, I thought, but to read Lou's, it was like, oh, wow, I didn't know that about your organization. So great tool, because sometimes we hear the same thing about businesses. It's like, Hi, I'm Bob Graham and I do this, blah, 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 that we just get tired. And it's just like, oh, Bob's talking again. I'm not going to listen because I've heard it 20 times. But the limerick forced an art. And I think that's what we do with networking, right? That's why our networking events work so well is we get past the 30-second elevator pitch to, hey, you know what? This is my favorite food and why. And then you get people laughing around that like, oh, French fries is your favorite food. Oh, ice cream is your favorite food. Oh, wow. I didn't even think about that. And that's the beauty. And that to me is, if you were to talk about the people I have business contacts with that are really people that I remember to refer people to, it's the ones who stand out to me.
Sure.
For whatever reason. And
Right.
not everyone stands out to me and not everyone stands out to you. If they did, it wouldn't work. But if someone, I think of a lawyer that we both know who I've referred so many people to. If someone says I need a lawyer, for a long time I was referring them to her and she would point them in the right direction. Criminal matter, civil matter, estate matter, bankruptcy, you name it. She was pointing them in the right direction. Now I have another lawyer that I've gotten to know that I'm playing golf with today. And I will refer people to him. And once he and I play golf today,
sure,
I think that's going to solidify the relationship because as I understand it, neither of us is very good.
It's golf. I mean, really, how many people are very good? Outside of the people you watch on TV, there are a lot of people who, and almost everybody who is even pretty good wants to be better.
Yeah.
Not many people are satisfied with their golf game.
Now, here's the funny thing about this morning, Tom. Yesterday, I watched our program and I kept saying, come on, quit the chitter chatter, get to the point. And I swore last night that I was going to get us to the point within 90 seconds. I'm now off by 5.5 minutes, working on 6 minutes. So
how's that going for you?
Yeah.
You're doing a good job of being patient. Which is
hopefully our audience is.
Well, correct. I think they always are. So we appreciate their patience every day. So that has been our topic this week.
I would say this, Tom. I would love to hear from people because I asked 2 people yesterday and got different points of view. Tom and I do a little chitter chatter. We talk at the beginning. Is that useful? Or should we get to the meat of the matter quicker? Feel free to put it in the comments. You will not, well, you will offend me one way or another, but
it will offend me.
I will still cope because Tom will talk me through the.
Yes, that is true.
There's a laser solution session coming on Monday.
Correct. It is okay, Bob. Don't worry. Everything will be all right. You should put a poll in the Ring of Renegades.
That's the other thing I wanted to mention, Tom. I knew there was something else. You were so generous yesterday, and I had a business issue, and John Hansen said, you should do a laser solution session with Tom. This is perfect topic. I, who advocates those all the time, never think about these things for myself. And you were incredibly skilled at helping me see an issue in a way that I couldn't have seen it otherwise. And you helped me find my own clarity. And so what I would say is we've done this at various times in the year. If you have an issue that is challenging you, in 15 minutes, I can now say definitively that Tom can fix it because he did it for me. I can say that, yes. And
you read a testimonial for me?
I did yesterday in the Facebook group.
You did.
But if someone wants to take advantage of that with Tom or with me, it was so incredibly helpful to me. This is a business issue that I had to resolve, that I was stuck on. It was going to consume me. And in 15 minutes, I explained it to Tom. He asked me a couple of questions. He said, hey, can I give you a different way to look at it? We went from A or B to a whole host of options. And those options now, I'm thinking through them, all of them are far better for everyone involved than I could have come up with alone. And we feel so isolated as business people so often. If that's something that you want to take advantage of, I will put the link in the chat right now while Tom talks a little. And please take advantage of it. It's a free service that Tom and I are doing from time to time to give you a taste of what it's like. We have some ways that you can get access to that every week. if you want, every month, twice a week, 3 times a week. It's unlimited, but we want to do that as a way to thank you for listening to what we do, for paying attention to us, and also because we want to help you, because I'm sure yesterday after you helped me, you felt better, right?
Absolutely.
And I know each time I do that, I like walk out of the meeting like, wow, it's so cool that I get to help people.
Absolutely.
So if that would be advantage to you, please take advantage of it. All right, Tom, I'm not going to talk for a couple. That was hard.
I was trying to follow that a little bit. I think you got there. My mind was a little slow this morning. Anyhow, so we have been talking all week about patience. And I think, we've gone through, a little bit about what it is, what its value is. Can you have too much? And, yesterday we talked about the age-old question, is patience a virtue? And, I thought it was a really good discussion. And so now I think we have the opportunity to wrap up our conversation about patience. And I hadn't really thought about this all week until this morning, that, there's lots of conversations, and I don't want to get into the whole mask thing and the pandemic and all of that. And yet, patience has been a big thing for the last year and a half that people have had to find ways to deal with. And I think our conversation around it was a little bit of a reflection of why patience doesn't necessarily just mean inaction. I think at some point people were like, hey, you know what? I just wanted to go back to normal. And they stood still. And I think others who were like, I think things have fallen apart or are going to fall apart and the world is going to end, they just decided to stay still and see what happened. And I think others who were patient, that change would come, and at the same time were figuring out how to move forward and figuring out how to take next steps. And I think that sometimes is the confusion that people have, is that patience is not inaction. And I think that has been a little bit of a theme throughout what we're doing. It's just an understanding that the results are going to come when they're going to come, because we don't control them. And so I thought it just was an interesting conclusion for me for the week that kind of wrapped up a little bit about, in a real life situation of how patience does come into play and how we all might look at it differently. And it's going to impact what's real for us, for each of us differently.
So it's so funny how we have these topics and I see them reflected in the world I'm in all day. Yesterday morning, I was in a meeting with 2 really successful business leaders, like big time, felt like even though I was the tallest guy in the room, I felt like the smallest guy in the room comparatively. These guys are, millionaires and beyond. And one was saying to the other, I asked the question, they were talking about partnership. Why do you want to partner with this other person? And the guy said, because he's been really patient. They've worked together on various things over the last year and a half. And unlike all the people that go to this person and say, I want, help me. This person that I was talking to was, hey, I'm doing the job. If you get a chance, let's talk. And he didn't go in for the big ask. And it struck me that what patience is it's not so much what we demonstrate to us, it's what the person observes. Patience could be as simple as, hey, I heard that you had a car accident last week. I know we have a meeting scheduled today. Are you up for it? Can you do it? And if they go, hey, I really don't feel at my best, saying, okay, I understand, and putting that meeting off, even though that meeting might be the key to your success for that week, that month, that year, having that grace to say to that other person, I want to put you ahead of me. And I think that's a hard thing for us to think about, because so much of business is me. I've got to get this. I've got to pay my bills. I've got these expenses. I've got all these things. It's got to work. It's got to be me. I feel that pressure every day. When I step back and go, it's not about me. It's about the other person. That's when great things happen in my business and for me personally. They don't happen when I'm going in for the hard ask and going, I've called you 14 times. I've sent you a book. I've given you free advice. I've done all these things. Why are you not buying from me?
I agree. I mean, it stops being about us and starts being about how do we serve them, someone else. How do we help solve their challenges? And, I think to me, that's a little bit about the whole go-giver attitude that I know we've talked about a lot on this show. It's not necessarily that giving could be giving them patience or giving patience to just be like, you know what? It's going to come at your time. It's your decision to make. I can provide you with lots of information, and I'm happy to do that. And at some point, you will make an ultimate decision. For the moment, those results could change, and I'm okay with that. Because I know that if I do all of the right things, if I trust the things that I continue to do, things will come around and work. Might not work with that person, but my person might refer them to somebody else. And they say, hey, you know what? You need to go talk to Bob. Bob has been really beneficial to me, even though it hasn't yet worked out for me to be a client. I think he could be really beneficial to you. And I think those are the pieces that, that's a little bit where patience comes into. It's, like if you planted a seed in a garden and expected like the next day you're going to have a full bloom, whatever plant. I remember it's been probably almost a year, not quite. We talked about the business tree and we had a whole conversation. I love that conversation about like, your business doesn't just bloom the first time you put out marketing material or the first time you order a business card, or you talked about having a website. It takes time for it to grow and flourish and develop and strengthen to a point where it can now support whatever else is going to come in. And I think that willingness to keep nurturing and nurturing and nurturing is really the value of patience.
Let me get some comments in. Tim, always up early with us. And I talked to him yesterday by text. He's starting to feel better. He had some medical stuff, so that's great news. He answered 3 questions. I also like they crystallized what I said into 3 distinct bullets. First of all, he says, chit chat at the beginning of the show, yes, worthwhile, and sets up the show nicely. 2, laser solution sessions. Excellent idea with either Bob or Tom. Totally worth the time and investment. And Tim's taken advantage of these, a number of them with you and a few with me. And then 3, patience is a virtue. And he followed that up with this statement, which I love. Patience, like faith, is an action word and not a state of inaction. And Tom, I got to tell you, I think next week we should go with the word faith. I think that should be our theme for next week. I was thinking that yesterday and I forgot to mention it to you, but I think having patience and talking about what faith looks like in the face of patience and what faith doesn't, what faith can look like when you're not patient. To me, that's the next logical step.
Yeah, I think so. Well, I think it's one of the things for those people who got the lantern. And if you're not on our email list and are not getting our weekly lantern,
shame on you. Sorry, was that impatient?
That was a little aggressive. That was a little shocking. I didn't know what to do with that.
I'm sorry. I was channeling some other people that you and I watch their videos.
Fair.
It just embedded itself.
So if you're not getting our lantern, which usually every Wednesday provides 3 tips, and my tips this week in it were that
don't ruin it. Don't give it all away.
I guess if you would want to see it, message me and I'll send you.
I was going to say, message Tom, give us an email address and we'll send it to you if you didn't get it.
Thought I could tease them and then they would get next week's was my intent. Okay.
No, you've already got it. It was brilliant. I told you that when I read it beforehand. Don't give it away. Be patient. They will give us their email addresses.
Okay. I'm working on that.
Can you tell the mornings I run? I ran this morning. I've been running every other morning. And it's definitely an endorphin rush for about 2 hours. And I am
something going on today, that's for sure. Maybe we ought to check that coffee. You're doing a little pre-gaming for your golf later this afternoon.
No, I'm not. I would love to, but I'm not.
All right. So, Bob, as we look at this week and we look back on patience, what's your one thing?
I think my one thing has got to be that the more patience we can demonstrate, the more opportunities we open the doors to. Rushing to get something done, rushing to achieve our goals limits what we can accomplish. Because in some business situations, if I accomplish my goal to hit my commission total for the month, I may miss out on a great opportunity that the person goes, if you could wait till the first day of next month, it's our new budget year, and I can smooth things out for you, and you'll be set with us for the whole next year. But instead, it's like I'm worried about today and not even having that discussion. I mean, that's one of the things I've found over the last year working with people on how to talk to clients and prospective clients. There's a lot of opportunity that we don't see because we're so busy doing our elevator pitch, doing our script. I got to ask them these 6 questions, that we're not listening to the answers. We're going through the script for our sake. I'm required to go through a script.
Sure.
But not hearing the person when they say after the first question, here's my problem. No, I don't want to hear that yet. I want to hear all the great things that are happening in your company. Person's like, no, I want to tell you about my problem. And part of that to me is being patient to allow a person to share with us what they want to share when they choose to share it. It could be the first meeting. It could be the 40th meeting. It could be after they get 20 of your lanterns. And suddenly that's the day where they go, well, our lanterns. But that's the day they go, wow, that spoke to me. And I think we sabotage ourselves. And I'm speaking firsthand. I know I've done this countless times. It is, and I wish I could go back 10 years and be like, hey, could we have coffee one more time? I really would like to listen. I'd really like to listen to you because I think I was talking way too much. I know it's hard to believe I could talk too much, especially this morning.
That's what's real for you. I'm all right with that.
Okay.
So I was just thinking about mine, and I don't know. The thought that came through my mind was be patient with those things you can't control and be impatient with the things that you can.
Whoa.
Think about that.
Whoa. I got to quote
sense?
that. I'm writing it down. Be patient with the things
you can't
cannot
control.
Okay.
And be impatient with those you can.
Wow, dude.
Think about that.
I'm like in awe. Like this should be like one of those quotes that you read in a book.
Yeah, I just feel like patience is so much patience is, we get impatient with the things we can't control, right? I'm standing in line. Why am I standing in line? Why won't this person sign something? Why won't this do whatever? That's where we need to be patient because we can't control it. When it's something that we can control, usually we have too much patience. Well, maybe I shouldn't send that email. Maybe I shouldn't make another phone call. Maybe I shouldn't. And what if with those things that we can't control, we have less patience and we take more action?
318 episodes to get to a incredible gem. We knew when we started this, if we did it long enough, something would bubble up.
Isn't that my thing? Like a blind squirrel sometimes finds a nut thing.
So you play golf with me.
To try to find it.
No, I seriously, Tom, I love that because it gets at that word control. And I think that's really when we talk about patience. Patience is accepting that we cannot control another person's actions. And as someone who really likes to control the world top to bottom, when I'm patient, I'm amazed at where not having control, it's like, I didn't see that coming.
Right.
Like in our discussion yesterday, I really thought I had control of what needed to happen. And when you started asking questions, I suddenly realized it's like, whoa, there's opportunities way outside of what I was thinking about. And I think that's a real gem. I think we've covered a lot of really great ground this week. And I think we've also dug in a way that it's actionable.
I hope so. We hope that we add the value that hopefully someone will benefit from it. And if you have your one thing, please feel free to share it. We'd love to hear what that is, whether it's here or in the Ring of Renegades Facebook group. And if you are not yet a member, shame on you. No, channeling my inner Bob. You should join our group. It is a private group. You just have to go to Facebook and you just have to ask to join. Search for Ring of Renegades and you can become a part of our growing community. Just tell us why you're a renegade. And we have conversations like that, not like this, what I just did, but conversations about things like patience. And as Bob said, things about faith or trust. What were we talking about next week? Faith. And many other things. They're great opportunities. So we hope you will join our growing community and be part of a group of people who are trying to help one another find their next step along their own unique pathway to success. If you are someone who is struggling with a concept, as Bob said, if you need a laser solution session, he put that in there. If you're looking for something more than that and you realize, hey, that might be really good to support my business, the Renegade Success Network might be the place for you. And so as we wrap up here, I am going to share some further information about the Renegade Success Network.
I have one more impression. Do you remember Jack Bauer on 24? Did you ever watch 24?
I did.
Okay, you ready? I'm going to give it. Just do it now! Thank you. My Jack Bauer impression.
And if you would like to share your impressions of Jack Bauer, or don't forget your impressions of Bob.
That's right.
Please
so much fodder.
To share it in the group. Anyhow, thanks so much for joining us today. I hope you have a great weekend. We will see you inside the Ring of Renegades Facebook group, or we will see you Monday, 8 a.m. Eastern time for our next edition of today's Antidote. And as I promised, here's some information about the Renegade Success Network.
Are you struggling to make your vision a reality? Are you stuck and don't know what to do next? Are fear and doubt holding you back? The Renegade Success Network will help you determine the next steps on your pathway. Here is some of what you will get. Create your pathway call to start you on a better path. Unlimited laser solution sessions to keep you from getting stuck. Nurture your network events to build your network with other successful leaders. Monthly Renegade challenges to prepare you for what lies ahead. The Renegade Success Vault, giving you access to videos, tools, and tips on specific topics anytime you need them. And the Renegade Success Network community, an exclusive Facebook group of like-minded renegades, all working towards achieving their goals. You have a choice. Do it yourself and fumble forward slowly and alone. Or join the Renegade Success Network and be part of a community built to help you find your own pathway. Join today at renegadesuccessnetwork.com. Act now and jumpstart your journey on your own pathway to success.